The Steam controller officially goes on sale tomorrow, May 4th, and I am very excited. I am going to be first in line right on the website. Maybe not first, but I'll definitely be on the website exactly the time it goes on sale, which is 10 a.m. Pacific time, which will be around 1 p.m. here on the East Coast. And I'm completely ready to buy this controller as quickly as possible so I can get it as soon as possible and just start using it right away. And by now, you've probably seen plenty of, Steam controller unboxing and review videos. I've actually watched every single one of them, and I feel like people might take that as an exaggeration, or people might take that as me just embellishing or joking around. But no, I searched Steam controller on YouTube and just watched every single one that I have found. So I have a really good idea of what this thing can do, what it can't do, who it's for, who it isn't for. It's definitely for me, particularly because I'm a big fan of this guy, the Steam Deck. Now, if you are also a big fan of the Steam Deck, I can only imagine that you'll also be a big fan of the Steam controller. And, out of all these reviews that I watched, there was quite a few of them that treated the Steam controller in a weird way. So here's my official opinion on how you should treat the Steam controller and when comparing to other controllers. The Steam controller is a great first-party controller by Valve for its own Steam platform and should be compared directly to controllers like the Xbox controller and the features that it has specific to that platform, or the PlayStation 5 controller or 4 controller, or any of those specific PlayStation controllers that had very specific features that were specifically for that platform. And there's tons of reviews out there where they're being compared to the Gully Kit controllers or the 8-bit Do controllers, which are all really good controllers, are all great budget controllers that are really good controllers, not even just for the price, but just in general. But so the Steam controller isn't just Valve's chance at making a third-party PC controller that can work everywhere. This is its first-party controller for Steam input. And so there's going to be plenty of people where this controller might not be a good fit, and that's perfectly fine because that happens. Now, if you play games off of multiple marketplaces, if you play games off the Microsoft Store, off of the Epic Game Store, off of GOG, or any of those things that have all of their own launchers and stuff, this controller might not work for a lot of those. You do have to have Steam open to use any of the features, and you have to be running the game through Steam to use a lot of the features. So if you launch a game on Game Pass and you're playing that game with the Steam controller, you have Steam open, basically you're telling the controller to do everything exactly the same thing as X input does, which is would be like an Xbox controller. So any of the Steam specific features, like the trackpads, the grip sense, the capacitive thumbsticks and all that stuff, I think even the gyro controls just won't work because X input does not have those things. It's not compatible with those things. If you're playing a game on Epic Game Store, if you launch that game through Steam, you may be able to use a lot of the features, but there may be some weird compatibility issues. It all depends on how well Steam works with that game. But if you are a diehard Steam customer, you buy all of your games through Steam, you're in line for the Steam machine like I am, you are maybe buying the Steam Frame 2, you're all in on Steam OS, just like what's on this guy, this is going to be a great controller for you. And I know it is going to be for me because every time I'm playing a game on my Steam Deck, especially if I'm streaming a game that I am playing on my Steam Deck, I have to put this in a docking station connected to my capture card, and as I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube, whatever, I'm using a separate controller. And it feels weird, especially if it's a game that I had been playing on this device natively, on the actual buttons on the system. It feels weird because now I have to get acclimated with a completely different layout, a completely different feeling controller. And I would love to be able to pick up a controller and have it literally be this with the screen chopped off and the controls glued together. This is almost what the Steam controller is. It's basically that. It's a little bit more better shaped. It's better thought out. It's not literally I actually have literally seen a person who had taken an old broken Steam Deck and cut the screen off. Literally just removed the controller parts. I know they might have had to create another PCB for it, but yeah, they kind of glued the two controller parts together and made a physical separate controller that they used for particular ways in games. And so the Steam controller is a good controller for that person because that's the control type that they like. But yeah, there's plenty of reviews out there if you want to watch those. I don't have the controller in my hands. I'm a small YouTube channel, and even some of the really big ones, 100,000 subscribers, have a plaque on their wall. Some of those people did not get a Steam controller, or if they did, they got it super late. But yeah, I'm excited for this controller. I just know for a fact that I'm just going to be customizing the hell out of this thing, and I don't curse on my YouTube videos, but I'm going to be customizing this thing like crazy. I'm going to be adding, because you can do a bunch of different stuff, and I will show you on the Steam Deck because it's the only thing that's relatable that I have here. But with the trackpads, you can have it so that when you swipe up, left, right, down, and you can do that now in games, you can create little radial menu basically where like a directional swipe will do like a controller, like a button combination or like a menu option that doesn't have a mapped button. And you can create like little shortcuts for yourself. So if you want to like equip a certain button, or sorry, equip a certain weapon in a game, you can just like do a swipe right and it will switch to that weapon immediately. The back buttons too, you can map the back buttons to do anything. Somebody mentioned that they mapped one of the back buttons to do the downward strike, the pogo strike in Silksong, so you don't have to press down and the button, you just press that button, so you jump and press it. And if you press it while you're on the ground, it just does a regular attack. But now you don't have to worry about using the direction and the button at the same time. You can create that little shortcut that's like a hotkey for specific things in games. You can do that on the Steam Deck. But all of the different things that people have created for the Steam Deck will be available for the Steam controller. So you can go into all these community profiles and see the different things that people have made and uploaded. You can just download that profile, set it to your controller for that game, and then use that profile. It's absolutely amazing. I think there's just so much customization. And like I said before, especially if you are like hardcore into playing games on Steam, on the Steam Deck, if you're going to get the Steam machine, or if you're planning on building like a Steam OS computer, like this controller is perfect for you. Now, of course, there are some limitations outside of PC as well. You cannot really connect this to, and I think not at all, to a Switch or a Switch 2 or even a PlayStation 4 or 5, even though those controllers are Bluetooth. You can't connect this to an Xbox or any of those systems via a USB-C cable and use them. Connecting this via Bluetooth or even with a little puck. Actually, I forgot to mention the puck. I'll talk about that in a second. But if you connect it to a Windows PC without Steam open, it just thinks it's a mouse and keyboard essentially. So you don't really get a lot of functionality outside of that. But yeah, the puck, I should have mentioned that's one of my favorite features of the controller is the puck. So the puck is not only a method of wireless charging, but it is a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection for the controller that is low latency. And I don't obviously have the controller in my hands or really any methods to test this latency, but there's a GamersNexus video where they did a bunch of testing, and basically like even with multiple controllers connected to this puck, so you can do 4 controllers per puck, the latency only went up by like a fraction like of an amount, so like something not noticeable by human eyes or like hand-eye coordination, whatever you want to call it. And you can also connect it to Bluetooth if you want to connect it to a device where you don't have that puck connected. And what's great is that the Steam machine will have the receiver for that, the same receiver that the puck has built into the Steam machine, so you can connect the controller to that. You can connect each controller to 2 different receivers. So if you have a Steam machine and then you want to connect the puck to, let's say, a docking station in another room so that you can connect your Steam controller to your Steam Deck docked in a different room, so you have this in your living room for the Steam machine, then you have like your bedroom and you have a Steam Deck dock with a Steam Deck docked in it. You can then take that same controller, do a little, I forget what the buttons are, but you press a certain button combination. It's like Steam button and then A and then like the bumper or something, and it will switch from the first puck that you connected to and the second receiver puck that you connected to. So you can go from one room to the other and literally switch that controller to that other device and then keep playing the same game. I don't know, I'm really excited for this controller, but I just wanted to, like I said, talk about what this controller is. a first-party Steam controller with features that are designed to work within Steam via Steam input. And actually, I remember I was watching a video in the bedroom. It's a 48-minute long video from Retro Gamecore where he talked about where this controller works best, and it was like Windows versus Bazai versus other Linux distros versus Steam OS and the Steam Deck and blah blah blah. And I remember my wife being like, it's the Steam controller, it's in the name. It's like, yeah, a lot of these publications or YouTubers, they're trying to compare this controller to any old PC controller, but this is the Steam controller for your Steam machine or your Steam Deck or running Steam in big picture mode on your computer. It is not a PC controller that will also work really great in Steam. Now, for the $100 price point, it does pack a lot of technology in it. So you got like the trackpads, the capacitive joysticks, you have the grip sense. You have that setting customized in Steam for whichever combination of those things you want. Can turn on and off gyro, or can do certain things. I remember one person said that they set the left grip sense thing to open a map in like Silksong. So if you, instead of having to press the button, all they had to do was grip the left side of the controller like a little bit tighter, touch that little capacitive thing, and you immediately open the map, which I thought was a really cool way to do it. But yeah, there's dozens of customizations. I'm just super excited to see where this goes, and I know everything that Valve works on for this controller or for this, the Steam machine or the Steam frame. All of that stuff, all the things they've learned from those things, they're going to use that in the future on the next Steam Deck, on the next Steam machine, on the next Steam controller. And everything is just going to improve from there. And I think this is a really exciting time if you're getting into Steam, because before 2024, I did not have a Steam Deck. I did not have really any games on Steam. I had like a couple that I tested on playing games on like Chromebooks through Steam on Linux, like Stardew Valley and Hollow Knight and stuff. But I didn't really have a Steam account. Like, I had the account, but I didn't really use it for much until I got the Steam Deck. And then, you know what? In that small amount of time, in those 2 years that I've had this Steam Deck, I really just stopped wanting to play games anywhere else. So, the Steam controller being the first party Steam input focused controller specifically for people who are like me, who are gonna move forward having basically full investment in Steam OS. This is the perfect controller for me. If you think the Steam controller is for you, or even if you don't, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. It tells YouTube that more people should see this video because it's a good video. If you really like my content, if you like the way that I present things, you can click on my face in the corner right over here to subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon down there, you can tell YouTube that you want to see notifications every time I put out a new video. I also have a Discord and a Fluxer. If you're not familiar with Fluxer, it's basically the same thing as Discord, but the links will be in the description below, and you can join that and continue that conversation over there. But otherwise, it was great talking to you, and I will see you on the next one.